Psalm 13. Psalm 13 runs right along with Psalm 12, same time period between 2 Samuel chapters 13, 14, 15. It's this time frame when David's eldest son Amnon took advantage of his sister Tamar. He raped her. It took 2 years, but Absalom got his revenge, and he lied to his father and brothers and set up this whole scenario and killed his older brother. He actually had his servants kill him. Then what would happen is Absalom was driven out. He left the scene and was brought back in. And as he was brought back in, David wanted nothing really to do with him. And these family dynamics are just crazy. At any rate, Absalom would position himself at the city gates, and he would sit there, and people would come in and have their different quarrels or needs. They need something judged, and Absalom would say, "Oh man, it's a shame my father's busy. You've got a great case, and if I were king, I would judge it. But I'm not the king, and my father's busy. But if I were king, this is what I would do." And day in and day out, he just was winning the hearts of the people. And slowly, he rose up and had an insurrection against his father. And David left. For 2 years, he was running for his life from Absalom. Well, we find that Psalm 13, Psalm 12, all are running in that same time period. And here we see David crying out 4 times, "How long? How long, O Lord?" And as we read this, it teaches us a couple of things: time and patience. So let's take a look at Psalm 13 and let's glean what we can. It reads off, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long will my enemies be exalted over me? Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Enlighten my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say, I have prevailed against him. Lest those who trouble me rejoice when I am moved. But I have trusted in your mercy. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord, because he has dealt bountifully with me." So it starts off as a dirge, ends up as a praise. But we read off right in the bat 4 times, David asks, "How long? How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long, O Lord, will you hide your face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long will my enemy be exalted over me?" And there are times in our life too when we just feel like it just goes on and on and on. My prayers are hitting the ceiling. They're not going anywhere. It feels like the Lord is not listening to me. And I need to learn to be patient. It's been a couple of weeks now, and we've been in this national shelter in place, this coronavirus shelter in place, and we've been cooped up in our homes. And everywhere on social media, on the news, in the paper, it's how long is this going to last? How long? How long, oh Lord, will you forget about us? And there's a lot going on. I don't want to minimize what's happening. There are people who've lost their lives, lost family members, lost their jobs. It's a difficult time. And I hear it. How long? I have friends with cancer, and I hear, how long? How long do I have to live? How long is my mother going to make it? How long am I going to fight this battle? I have friends who've lost their loved ones, and they say, how long is it going to hurt? How long does this go on and on? And you know, a couple of things that we need to do is wait on the Lord. As David would lay everything out, he ends with, I have trusted in your mercy. And can I encourage you to trust in his mercy? Can I encourage you just to wait just a little bit longer? Just a little bit longer. I was reading here in Daniel a couple different places in Daniel 9 and in Daniel 10. Let me read these to you. In Daniel 9, he's reading in the book of Jeremiah. Daniel and Israel has been out in Babylon. They have been in exile for 70 years because they were sinful against the Lord. They rejected the Lord. They didn't give the land rest. And so the Lord said, okay, 490 years, you've been rejecting me. You have not obeyed me. You're going to give me the Sabbath years for that 490 years, and that's 70 years. And that's what Jeremiah says. Well, Daniel is there in Nebuchadnezzar's court, and he realizes 70 years is almost up. We're just about there. And so he falls on his face, he prays, and he just seeks the Lord. How long, oh Lord? Pardon me. How long are we going to continue this way? And this is what I like. It says right here in verse 23 of Daniel 9 that Gabriel came to him and he said, at the beginning of your supplication, the command went out, and I have come to tell you, for you are greatly beloved. Can I tell you something? God does hear your prayers. And at the beginning of your prayer, just like Daniel, the Lord is responding. And it may not be in the time frame you expected or in the way that you expected, but God hears you. Now, there are things in our life that can separate us, separate our prayers from God. Our sin will separate us from God. The way we treat our spouse can separate us from our God. And there are things that can do that would separate us. Unconfessed sin will separate our prayers from God. But there are times when we're doing everything right, like Job. Lord, I'm innocent and I don't know what's going on. How long must I suffer? Well, at the very beginning, in the beginning of Job, we realize that Job is a trophy. And it's a difficult walk that he has, but the Lord restores him. The Lord gives him more than what was taken away. And you know, can I say that you and I have gained far more in Christ than what was ever lost in the garden with Adam and Eve. Whatever was lost, which was huge, what we've gained in Christ is far greater, far better, far more. And so just like this, there are times when we need to wait and wait patiently. I like what Spurgeon says. Spurgeon says, it is not easy to prevent desire from degenerating into impatience. For grace that, while we wait on God, we may be kept from indulging a murmuring spirit. You know, Israel was known for their murmuring throughout the Old Testament. Throughout Exodus, we see them murmuring, and snakes would bite them. We see the bronze serpent being raised up because they're murmuring. And there's plenty of scriptures that talk about don't be a murmurer. We need to learn patience. But at the same time, we need to remember that God does hear us and God is on the move. You know, David says, Lord, would you consider me? Would you remember me? Enlighten my eyes. Lord, help me to see what you see. This isn't going in the time frame that I have, but help me to see what you see, what you know, that I can walk the walk that you want me to be, the walk that to be the man that you want me to be, to walk the walk you want me to walk. David says, I've trusted in your mercy. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. You know, the first thing we need to remember is we can call out to the Lord and he hears us, and we can trust that. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. Can you sing to the Lord today? It might be a long time since you've heard from him. You might feel a little dry. It might be time for you to get on your knees and just cry out to him once again and sing a song of thanksgiving. A song that reminds yourself that he has dealt bountifully with you. It might not be in your time frame. It may not be the way you want it. But you know what? He has dealt bountifully with you. He has considered you. And the word says that the Lord demonstrates his love for us, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. While I was still in my rebellious state, the Lord laid everything out for me. And so I can trust him. I can trust him. I like what Paul would say is, I don't even count this light affliction to be compared to the weight of glory which will be revealed in us. I love that. I like how Paul would continue to go on and say that nothing can separate us from the love of God which is in Christ Jesus. So this light affliction, this nothing cannot be compared to what God has for you. And it'll be revealed. It'll be made manifest in you in his time. And it will be worth it. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.